For motorcycle enthusiasts, there is no wrong motorcycle. Riding is at the core of motorcycling, and there is a bike for anyone who wants to ride. To be clear, my choices are not intended to diminish the value of anyone else's favorite motorcycles. During 6 decades of riding, I have valued a variety of bikes, from scooters to sport bikes, trail bikes, scramblers, and competitive open desert race bikes, basic commuter motorcycles, sport touring motorcycles, and luxury highway cruisers. My riding style and willingness to do my own service work influence my choice of favorites. I do not want what I share to come across as opinionated elitism. My way is not the only way to view motorcycles or motorcycling. Put in perspective that I was born in 1949. Post-war hot rodders were exposed to the American V-twin motorcycle culture. The sole American standard by the mid-50s was Harley-Davidson. Before that, into the early 50s, Indian motorcycles had a loyal following. The pre-war Crocker, rare and fast, has become the ultimate V-twin collectible. These bikes have a rugged, road-oriented sturdiness, solid and readily serviceable, built to last by the standards of their era. Vintage American motorcycles were basic transportation. Harley-Davidson and Indian each built motorcycles for the Second World War. When the war ended, Harley-Davidson emerged as a predominant American brand motorcycle. Harley-Davidson V-twin bikes and trikes became the standard for police and other service chores during the post-war era. Despite the V-twin cachet, the most aesthetically pleasing bikes were the Indian and Henderson pre-war inline fours. Indian brought the four to a high standard. Long before the Honda Goldwing and BMW K models, these inline, air-cooled fours were considered elite American touring motorcycles. The original Indian motorcycles went out of production after 1953, leaving 2 generations of fans flat-footed. I bought a Cushman Eagle long block engine and service manual from Al Lohr's shop at Sacramento in the summer of 1963. Lohr was a notable Indian and early British BSA dealer. Lingering Indian motorcycle motifs, signage, and a smattering of service customers were all that remained of the once thriving Indian franchise. The contemporary Polaris Indian revival in the cruiser bike market has captured the iconic cues of the classic Indian motorcycles. Staking claim as the oldest American brand motorcycle, Polaris has rekindled a market for massive, smooth cruising motorcycles. The stylish, contemporary Indian Roadmaster touring bike weighs upward of 900 pounds wet or in running order. The seat height is 26.5 inches, just right for a luxury cruiser motorcycle. As for easy riding and classic bobbers and choppers, there is only one, Harley-Davidson. The 1936 introduction of the knucklehead overhead valve pushrod twin set a benchmark for popular road motorcycling. Through 1947, the knucklehead with a hardtail, rigid rear frame, and Springer front forks gave motorcycle enthusiasts a foundation for post-war hot rod motorcycles known as bobbers, notably motorcycles with fenders trimmed and on an overall diet. Bobbers led to the extended front fork choppers of the 60s and onward. For the 50s, denim jeans with cuffs, unfiltered cigarettes rolled up in neat white t-shirt sleeves, classic leather motorcycle jackets, and tilt caps became the iconic American bad boy image for a segment of motorcyclists. Marlon Brando, Lee Marvin, and other prominent actors illuminated this image in the December 1953 movie release of The Wild One. While the influence was strongest among Harley-Davidson riders, Brando actually rode his own 1950 British Triumph T6. A post-war motorcycle club, the Hells Angels, carried the theme to new heights in the 60s, 70s, and onward. Harley-Davidson choppers with radically raked front forks, riser handlebars, custom paint, and plenty of chrome replaced the 50s bobbers. There were American board racers, modified V-twin hill climb bikes, and a substantial following for flat-track racing. Harley-Davidson maintained its traditional road riders. The Springer and hardtails evolved into commuter Hydra-Glide and Duo-Glide panheads, shovelheads, and by the mid-80s, the breakthrough Evolution V-twin motorcycles. The Evolution engine took Harley-Davidson out of the dark years of AMF ownership to better crafted, highly sought-after motorcycles. When I wrote the Harley-Davidson Evolution V-Twin Owner's Bible as a Bentley publisher's book, my research and review of Harley-Davidson history made me more aware of the traditional Harley-Davidson motorcycles and culture. Striving for dependability, the pre-war and post-war motorcycles focused on functional transportation. The Depression era had stimulated interest in affordable, easily maintained motorcycles with ready parts availability. Post-war, Harley-Davidson focused on its proven V-twin engineering to make road travel more accessible and inviting for a growing range of riders. Today's big displacement oil-to-air cooled and liquid-cooled V-twins appeal to many commuters and couples wanting to enjoy the open road on a fully dressed motorcycle. To each his own. Personally, my interest in Harley-Davidsons is a far cry from that logic. I'll pass on 900-pound motorcycles. The 1957 introduction of the Sportster and the V-twin powered Buell are closer to my liking. Restoring a lighter pre- or post-war knucklehead, a vintage Sportster 883, a Buell, or an Evolution-era 1200cc Sportster would be more my speed. The current Indian and Harley-Davidson retro-look bikes have appeal for good reason. Cleaner lines, less clutter, and a nostalgic cast. These bikes are packed with modern technology and safety features beneath a wrapper of traditional classic styling. I am drawn to the look and the hint of less complicated service work on these theme bikes. Patterned after 50s or 60s big V-twin American motorcycles, these retro-look machines are somewhat more serviceable than a fully dressed luxury cruiser. Considering the hourly labor rate at today's shops, high-tech motorcycle service costs can make riding unaffordable for many. I have always serviced my own vehicles. This includes new purchases once beyond warranty and recall work. The amount of bodywork and trim overburden on a luxury cruiser bike is staggering for a technician. Frankly, that alone is enough to steer me toward restoring a Harley-Davidson or Indian V-twin. I have shop space and enough tooling for a streamlined Evolution-era Fat Boy or an unadulterated base Road King. Either might find its way onto my radar screen. These bikes somewhat offer the serviceability of 50s Harley-Davidson bikes. Indian models like the Scout at 561 pounds wet with 100 horsepower would also be a consideration. Worth noting, none of my choices are optimal for riders wanting a painless, cross-country touring machine without wind in their face. Call me stuck or whatever. I'm a classicist when considering a V-twin road bike. With a penchant for wrenching, restoring an older machine holds more appeal than making payments as high as a new car or light truck SUV to park a high-tech, classic theme V-twin in my driveway. I like the ruggedness of traditional V-twin motorcycles and came of age around motorcycles without stability control, a slipper clutch, ABS, electric start, or EFI. Moreover, I prefer pre-owned motorcycles that have depreciated substantially from their cost when new, and new motorcycles depreciate quickly. In summing it up, my currently affordable V-twin picks would be an Evolution-era Fat Boy, a base Road King, the Sportster, or a Buell for its more refined chassis and precise handling. These bikes fit my riding style. They also work better for my shop size, tools, and equipment. I've owned and ridden a behemoth motorcycle, the Honda Goldwing GL 1500 SE, and frankly, that's just not me. My 1996 BMW K1100 LT at 639 pounds was tolerable due to its precision-engineered handling. I fully understand the worth of large touring and luxury cruiser bikes, but in my mid-70s, I still prefer the added wind, engine noise, and nimbler handling of lighter motorcycles. I'll settle for a sport bike over a cruiser or fully dressed luxury model.